Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Bible, one book, one verse at a time. Today we're looking at the book of 2 Thessalonians. It's a book that deals with prophecies about the coming of Jesus again and worrying about the day of the Lord. It's one that's kind of outside of our comfort zone or our experience often, but it's interesting to see how Paul uses this kind of talk to encourage the people at that particular time. Now, if you'll recall, the people in Thessalonica have not had it very easy. As a church, they've been somewhat persecuted. The Greeks and the Romans and perhaps even the Jews around them had been hurting them and harming them, taking away their businesses and perhaps even killing some of them. And on top of all of that, they received some kind of instruction from someone, maybe even a letter that purportedly seems to come from Paul, saying that the day of the Lord had already happened and that they had missed out, so they might as well just move on with their life. Now, we don't know what's behind all of this, and that seems a little bit weird. Definitely seems like this community is under attack. But Paul says, you know what? The day of the Lord is going to come, and it's even though it's going to come at a time that we don't know, like a thief in the night, he says, it is one where we, as those who follow Christ, are going to be vindicated, and real justice is going to happen. Now, the reason this is important, that the day of the Lord will come and that there will be vindication for those who believe in Him, the reason this is important is so that they can have confidence to continue to follow Christ even though they are being persecuted. In fact, Paul says the fact that they are actually suffering for Jesus brings them closer to Jesus. After all, He suffered and He died because of the things He claimed of who He was, and then He was raised again to new life because of who He actually was, and that He will come back in order to set things right again. And that setting of things right will mean that those who follow Him, and particularly those who have suffered for Him, will be shown to be right, and they will be rewarded or congratulated or comforted because of what they had been through. So the other reason why this is important, this waiting for Christ's return and recognizing that it is going to come yet, is that now we can still engage and should still engage in the world around us. We don't just sit back and wait for Jesus to come, doing nothing and expecting handouts from those who are around us, nor do we kind of give up all hope of Him coming and don't even worry about what we do now and just kind of live the way that we want to. Paul says, no, this knowledge that Christ will return will vindicate us, prove us to be right, and will give justice to those who have been harmed and who are doing harm. This should encourage us and help to make us holy here and now. And this is why Paul ends kind of each one of his three sections of 2 Thessalonians with a prayer for the people. A prayer like this one from 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 16. Where he says, "May our Lord Jesus Christ Himself and God our Father, who loved us and by His grace gave us eternal encouragement and good hope, may He encourage your hearts and strengthen you in every good deed and word." So what we can learn from a book like this is that Jesus will come back and that things will be set right. And in the meantime, we rely on this encouragement and this hope to help shape us into people who do good deeds and who live lives that bring honor to Him.